For only the third time in close to 40 years, Arizona introduced a new men's basketball coach on Thursday at McKale Center. Longtime Gonzaga assistant coach Tommy Lloyd is set to take over the Wildcats. In front of media members, other coaches, and even the late Lou Olson's wife, Kelly, Lloyd and his family were welcomed to Tucson. Coach Lloyd spoke for an hour and addressed a variety of topics as he looks to the future of the program.
Wow. I mean, you're probably going to see me get a little bit emotional. University of Arizona basketball, amazing. It's a dream come true. And for those of you that know my story and don't, it's well documented. I was a longtime assistant at Gonzaga, 22 years, and I loved every minute of it. I had a contract to be the next head coach there. You know, life was good. And I never really got into playing the job hunting game or, you know, where do I want to coach, at least publicly. But in my mind, in my heart, I knew, and you're going to hear it over and over again, this is the only place I would ever leave Gonzaga to come to be the head coach at University of Arizona. I'm sure there were days thinking I'm an assistant at Gonzaga, probably not likely. But as it became a reality, it's something I've wrapped my arms around. And I can't wait to start this adventure. It's been a whirlwind today. I can't wait to get through today and get to work tomorrow. For me, there was no decision to make. When I heard the names of the schools pursuing me, you're flattered, but I knew at that time I was at the right place, and it was Gonzaga. I mean, I invested every ounce of my being into Gonzaga. And in moving forward, what separated Arizona is really simple. It's Arizona basketball. And this place is phenomenal. I've been watching this place rock for 40 years, since when I'm 5, 6 years old, waking up on Saturdays watching NCAA games. And for me to have the opportunity to be a head coach at a place like this, you know, basically on the West Coast, it was a no-brainer for me. The first thing I did today is I met with the current team. And it's really important that I meet with those guys because we got to hit fast forward and develop some relationships because, you know, college basketball is crazy these days with player movement. So I want to meet these players, you know, get them to know my vision, get to know them, know about their families so we can do the best part moving forward, creating win-win situations. The former players, it was awesome. Listen, I don't want this to be about me. I want it to be about them. And what I can do as the leader of this program is do everything in my power in using the university's resources to honor those guys and make those guys, it's about them. They're the ones with the sweat equity, the blood, sweat, and tears. That's why they're so passionate about this place. And if they didn't have that, I wouldn't be here. Because there's no way I would go to a program that didn't have players that cared. For me to have the opportunity to be the head coach at University of Arizona, it probably wasn't going to be a perfect situation. But one thing, I don't think you guys are ever going to hear me complain about NCAA sanctions or anything like that. I know what I'm walking into, and I know my job is to lead the program forward. So that's going to be 100% of my focus. You guys have been to Spokane. It's a great place to live, but it's not necessarily a hotbed for high school basketball. So we had to go out and think different to be different, you know, to get the level of players to compete nationally. And so we utilized the international market, and I was able to spearhead that. And it's been an easy narrative for people to grab onto. But, you know, I've also recruited a lot of great U.S. kids. And I think when I think about recruiting, I always think about my job is to get the best fit, highest character, most talented guy for our team. And you always have to have that formula. And whether that's an international guy, a transfer, a junior college kid, I don't know. But we're gonna fish in all waters, trust me. And we're gonna find the best kids for the University of Arizona, you know, no matter if they have a name you can't pronounce or they're a kid down the street. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have an exact plan how the roster's gonna look. I mean, hopefully a lot of these guys come back because, you know, I mean, Sean left a really good foundation to build upon. And I hope, you know, that a lot of those guys decide to stay, but I don't wanna make any predictions until I've sat down with the guys one-on-one. I think it's really important to have Arizona ties within my staff. So, I want to take my time, meet some people, and make the right decisions, moving forward. But I think you're definitely going to see some Arizona flavor on it for sure.
I'm now here with senior editor Matt Moreno. What were your biggest takeaways from our first opportunity to hear from Tommy Lloyd?
Well, I think he touched on all the important topics of what you wanted to hear about. He talked about recruiting. He talked about the future of the program. He talked about his staff a little bit. He talked about the alumni, which I thought was interesting because something maybe you don't expect to hear in an introductory press conference is a coach talk about what was going on while he was being hired, the process outside of just what was happening today. And he acknowledged that, hey, the alumni didn't necessarily all want him. They wanted one of their own. And he said he almost would feel let down in that group because if they wanted, someone outside versus one of their own, he knows how strong the bond is between the alumni. And so he met with them already virtually and kind of smoothed some things over and let them know, his reasons for wanting to be the coach and how he believes he can turn this program back into a big time winner. And so I think that was maybe the most important thing I took from today was that he's really trying to keep that connection with the alumni, which, as we've seen Jed Fish already do, that's been a big part of what has helped him kind of gain some traction and move beyond kind of that initial disappointment that it wasn't an Arizona guy as the head coach of the football program. So for Tommy Lloyd, he's coming as an outsider. He's not part of the Arizona family. And so he had to smooth some things over. And I think to hear him acknowledge that tells you, hey, that's someone who understands it. He gets it. And so I think that was a big deal. I think he also really stressed kind of everyone around him more than himself. He kind of mentioned that a couple times where he said, it's not just about me, it's about the alumni, it's about all the people that were, watching, that were in the seats, other coaches that are on campus, support staff. So he mentioned it's not just about him, and that's really the truth. I think if you make it all about you, there's a certain kind of failure built into that. And so I think for him to understand that, hey, this is a major program. Gonzaga is a major program too, but Arizona is a whole different beast. And so I think him understanding that is a big deal, and now it's kind of what happens from here. He obviously has a lot of work to do. The NCAA stuff was mentioned a couple times. We don't know what's going to happen with these NCAA sanctions, whether it's going to be worse than just this one-year postseason ban that Arizona had this last season. If it's going to be a reduction of scholarships, we don't know. There's a lot of unknowns, and so it could be, as I mentioned a couple different places, it could be a rocky start for Tommy Lloyd here at Arizona, and he'll have to maneuver the program through that. But I think for him, he gets it, I believe, and he's not stepping into a situation where he's saying, oh, this is going to catch me off guard. He understands what the challenge is, and I think that's an important thing for a first-time head coach to understand. And now the ride begins, now the work begins, and now we'll see where everything leads.
We'll have a lot more coverage from today's press conference. With Matt Moreno, I'm Averie Klonowski for GOAZCATS.com.